them. I really was, and then they doubled down on that in the performance versus job life.
Yeah, and for me, it's a lot about also, okay, hold on, BBL Pacific. Of course, they haven't played this map yet here in Berlin. But for me, their weak point was Lotus. They've got it out of the way. And now they've come in with a brand new comp on Abyss. Do we like it?
That's what's a concern. I mean, yes, mixing things up a little bit here. The Jet, the Yoru, I feel is going to struggle against what Dynasty were happy to show, which is these flood pre-takes. Again, they were probing across the map on the defensive, very proactive once more, but the fact that they were committing towards this denial of the plant, I think is what BBL Pacific are probably going to struggle with here.
Yeah, most likely. But I think right now, if you are BBL Pacific, you need not to overthink. You just need to play your game, just do your things. And these guys, they know how to play very aggressively. And because they have a double dive comp, I expect them to reach sites, like punch really deep into sites, and then
push towards CT, yeah,
get some kills towards CT, and then fully reset. And also on their attacking side, I expect them to play around the KO knife a lot.
Yeah, and for LaRock, he's played a lot of agents, but for a Turkish player, not all that many times on Jet. So Mitch and Tom, this is going to definitely be a very interesting map.
Oh, it certainly is for BBL Pacific coming back for revenge. That first map, one that was very much, it felt like, in their pocket till Dynasty came along. And, well, I played a game I don't think I've seen played for quite a while. Individually, they stepped up. They were taking advantages, though, of mistakes being made. BBL Pacific getting a little overconfident in a lot of those fights. But now they've learned that if they do that, they're going to be punished pretty heavily.
Yeah, also the comp they're coming in with kind of, it has similarities to what Fnatic used to run. It was that double dive that instead of having the Cypher, they would have had the Breach. So they don't have necessarily the same amount of setup, but you do have that ability to just, especially on the A site on attack, have those nasty, aggressive site hits. I will say though, in recent times I've been a much bigger fan of the Waylay. I think especially if you're running double dive, I think Waylay Yoru is disgustingly good. I want to see what LaRock has to bring, because I think he's only had a couple of games on Jet. But you know, Turkish player on Jet, you kind of have to feel a little bit confident.
Definitely feels like there's more depth when you, in terms of the tools that you have and the options in those after the initial decision when you have Waylay in. Jet, you're going to be committing a bit more. Now you can already see this pressure on the A site responded to with the full mid push in the early round. They've completed it now by taking down Tag. He spotted a few. 3 players might not be expected. Dynasty, though, hearing the footsteps, they adjust, move up towards Heaven. They'll look to take a deeper fight to the spawn. They could even go back to B if they want, but starting to now split, sending 1 player to main, 2 to the vents, and 1 to their opponent's spawn. I hope they don't spread themselves too thin, and in fact, they've done just enough to push back an early crunch from the defense.
Famzy's position is the one that's definitely the most interesting. While everybody else has just been trying to make space, he's played super deep, but they expect it. They're ready for players to be around this corner. Will they be ready for everybody else, though? So many players still left to find the timing. Nice for Ticey, but for everybody else, it has fallen a little flat. Creamy, the only one remaining, and he will fall the same. Another solid start with the defensive side pistol coming out of BBL Pacific.
Yeah, rounds on the board early. I do like what we saw there from Dynasty, though. As soon as they lose flank control and they hear a lot of steps, they split, right? That's always a little bit risky in a pistol like that. 2 players pursuing them into the vents, but they extended just far enough to show BBL Pacific that they were potentially going to look for that fight. Then came back. It got them the space to, you know, maybe put that spike on the floor or take a fight together. But in the end, it's fights going the other way. Send BBL Pacific into that lead. 3 Bulldogs, 4 Bulldogs perhaps. Yeah, it's going to be a very heavy investment when those barriers go up by the looks of things. The Marshall, the signature weapon in these early rounds for Lovers Rock. He was able to do quite a bit of damage with it over on Lotus.
Investment though. Full buy. Stingers for everybody. I don't think this will be expected at all, and in fact, definitely not. Light has already been caught at the back of the site. Stinger upgraded, and there's definitely a risk being taken by Dynasty, but at least for now it's worked wonders.
BBL Pacific not having the upper hand in those fights that they thought they would. Still 3 Bulldogs to play with, but the numbers thinning out the herd. not together and falling one by one as Lover's Rock comes onto the site. He's got 2 more to take down after the first kill, but the pressure is on. Those steps hurt.
Away.
He's heard them both at this point. Taps it again, pulls them into the fight. The drop down, he's on the side angle, but takes a bit too long with the appetizer to make it to the main course. That's a risky play from Dynasty, making that investment, but it has worked out 1-1.
Yeah, I think you're now seeing that confidence that was talked about in the break by their coach. Just the fact that you started the game so slow, you felt like you just needed a round to get going, and then in these sort of moments early in the game, you go, okay, it's their map choice, let's try and throw them off. Like, they've come in with a plan. They haven't had much practice in terms of actual game time. The last time they played this map was in February, and with a different duelist and a different comp. So now, you've thrown a massive spanner in the works early. I think as well, last time this map was played, it was an 8-4 defensive side for Dynasty. So maybe feeling as well like, okay, we can have a couple of risks taken when it comes to our attack side. Why? It's most certainly paid off. Look at the buyback on the other side. It's a singular Sheriff.
Not quite given the opportunities that their opponents were in round 2, and I think for BBL Pacific, yeah, they've got the stack up on B, and you can see Famzy outside of it, but the main body of this force going elsewhere. Early rotate called. BBL Pacific abandoning B completely as the drone goes in on A. But Dynasty, oh, they're winning the game of cat and mouse. Back towards the B site they go. Space taken by Famzy after rotates were... I'm not even sure that he heard them with where he was. I think he might have been slightly too far away, but a good read nonetheless. The B site plant will be found for free, and BBL Pacific got to be scratching their heads. They haven't seen anybody.
Yeah, obviously in these sort of rounds, there's only really one way that this is ever going to end, and that is by falling off of the map.
Player standing.
Seems like for the Sheriff player of LaRock, it's more about getting a couple of orbs. If he can try and just take somebody's head off with the Sheriff, they've seen 4 players go down, probably understand what's going on here. You don't see 4 players jump off the map and then the last one, but there you go. Not finding anything quick enough. All of the Pacific players will fall to their doom. And for Dynasty, wow, that's not bad at all. You win a second round, you get an upgrade, and now you get to keep every single one of your weapons going into round number 4. This is about as good of a start you could hope to get on your opponent's map choice.
Yeah, listen, a tactical pistol loss, perhaps. You know, it certainly works out in their favor, but whether premeditated or not, almost certainly not.
I would say.
BBL Pacific find themselves down by 1. This is where the operator comes into play for Lover's Rock. Again, this weapon, it seems to have had its struggles on Lotus, even in the latter stages. Better than what we saw before, but we come into this round, to this map, a lot of space available for him to get aggressive, for Lover's Rock to look for these early fights, and you can see it towards B main. He's already detected the Cypher there, but mid, characteristically open. Love that gate crash use. He's cleared out pretty much the entirety of B. They can afford to start looking for some picks on mid if they want, and the drone's what's going to find them that little bit of information.
I like what Tag was doing, though. Like, even though you haven't seen your opponent play this map, you understand the tendencies of having that double duelist on defense. So you know he's going to be holding a close angle. Let's throw a cage in. Let's give a risk that he needs to either stick there and take the fight or fall back. And because of that, a lot of the information of that deep control has now dissipated completely. Even still, though, BBL Pacific have stuck to the majority of their team here, and a TP's already gone through on towards the site. Ticey finds 1, but 2 have fallen in return, and they've got to be careful of their backline. LaRock ring around a Rosie. He's going to get himself maybe 2, and he does. Just a quick, sneaky push, and leaves Tag now, unfortunately, on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, I think with the limited information that they'd given away at that point, Dynasty just assumed, you know, they've seen 2 players towards this A site. There's probably not a third guy who was close, hiding in the smokes that we missed. But like ships in a night, it's exactly how it went down. Tag at least finding himself 1 more. A bit more damage done to the BBL Pacific side. But a very strong round shown from them with the op early on towards that B site. Now being carried forward by Tag, though. Dynasty will have that available for the next.
I wonder who they're rooting for. Have a small guess.
objective.
Cover going down.
They are back on the board for BBL Pacific. Of course, we mentioned it. Their map choice, and it does feel like the series gets further into their favor. Further down the maps they go. It was even mentioned by their coach in between the maps that the reason for their selection is they wanted the side choice on map number 5, so they're definitely prepared to go that far. The attack, though, maybe back to basics. Early spam. LaRock's just going straight through him. Well, he's met his maker.
Yeah, Waddle shock dart. He happened to dash right into it. It's already been tagged on the way out. It's a risky play early on, and it hasn't worked out. It's drawn the rotation of Lover's Rock to this A site, but...
Do you reckon that was for a trip? The shock dart, just to wait on that close corner box. I think there was no plan to kill him. I think that was just
well, I mean, it's probably not for a player. You don't expect him to be in that corner, do you? When you're firing it through, so a happy accident for Dynasty. I mean, again, the calls here on the attack have been perfect. The way they've been pushing and pulling. They find this pick on A, denying the early aggression, and then they walk into the B site. It's wide open, it's free.
There.
Ramsey up close. Already tagged low, but the flash is sublime. Supportive utility to help, but while only one back in response, it is quickly diminished. A solid hold from the side of Dynasty. And some wonderful supportive pieces of utility. The shock dart for the first kill and the flash that just left. Yeah, it's just it's just a shock dart seemingly for the corner.
That's got to be a frustrating way to go down. And I think for BBL Pacific more so, the fact that this is a round where they invest their full economy. They don't have money for the next. They got baited into rotations for now the second time. Dynasty have been able to get onto a site for free. One was an eco, and that's fine. This one being a bit of a mix-up of a buy. Lover's Rock trying to get there early with the judge. But this now looks like a pretty easy round for Dynasty. Well, they've lost the opening pick, and look, there's lots of Sheriffs in play, and then Lover's Rock finding one with the weaker weapon, the Shorty in the smoke, a shock dart kill for Rose, and the advantage stays in the side of BBL Pacific. I mean, should have been a formality, but there's a real fight on their hands in LaRock. Well, he might have gotten past the trip, but they'll know where he is now.
Yeah, knowing that there's a guy on the flank, already trying to isolate. If LaRock wins this fight, it's going to put an awful lot of pressure. They know exactly where he is. Waddle going to play the close corner. We've seen this one before, but the problem is he's lost his teammate. They now have a reveal of their own, him being picked up every second and from an absolute nothing by Sheriffs and a Shorty. We're going to see a round come up for BBL Pacific.
Lover's Rock missed his opportunity with the judge, but with the Shorty, right place, right time. Dynasty have been so good at avoiding these big stack-ups. They lose an opening to a sneaky little trap, and from there, everything just crumbles. And I think even in the previous round, they will have seen that trip in play because they went up and over it close enough to have at least heard it. But this time, it seems to catch them completely off guard. 3-3.
It's been a weird map so far. Pistol win. A loss and now a response with, well, pistols once again. Maybe that's the key for BBL Pacific. But I also think after some of these defeats, we've seen Dynasty just go back to basics. Go for more of an all-in execute with the flank just being watched. The amount of space already taken, but this was seemingly something that was waited for. A combination of ultimates just trying to get the pick, but it hasn't worked out. Eventually, the Shorty will do the work, but in the meantime, there's been a response. Post-plant found, and this is the backstab. Waiting patiently, Rose. He had an inkling, he had an idea, but it's only been half-checked. And now, caught with utility in hand, he turns around, but just a split second too late. That leaves his teammates isolated on the side, but the diffuser's already underway. Kreven will get it to half, but denied by the utility, still just trying to survive within it, and just has to try and stick this all the way. The spams need to connect, and Creamy will make sure they do. The direct approach, again, working for Dynasty.
Yeah, Creamy saving the round, though. I mean, he was 14 HP, and he dodged a lot of shots. I was starting to get very nervous. And again, it seems like in a lot of these fights, so quick to grab these trades on Dynasty that they are playing as a pack, hunting down these players.
But that
Fine
kind
time
of,
for the late flank attack.
it leans into what I'm talking about. It feels like when they go direct as a unit, their synergy off of each other is very, very good.
Yeah.
The fundamentals from this Dynasty side are fantastic. When they're trying to play with the rotations, that's where it feels like they get caught a little bit more.
It's understandable, though, when they've had 2 rounds of just free value waltzing into a site. Definitely feels like in terms of those early bits of pressure they're putting through, BBL Pacific were overplaying their hand in some of these rounds, although in those rounds they did have much weaker weapons to work with. Lover's Rock up in hand, Blade Storm for LaRock, neither finding that early contact as Dynasty abandon the default and move towards A late. It will be the Blade Storm challenge. This tag's being forced back by the drone on middle, but all eyes on LaRock, the man who we've seen put up numbers more times than I can count. And with those 5 blades, this could be anything but an easy push.
They've made a full read. Look at the rotation. 3rd player coming in. The 2 players on the B side even starting to get itchy feet. They are well aware of where this push is coming in, but they've got to be careful of the man above. Bamsy has caused them issues, and the fact is it's the double dive with Ticey that works out for them on A again. Still, Kreven waiting. And they know that Tag's going to be behind them somewhere. So wary of that player coming through the door, and he eventually does make the move, but Kreven will win that fight. Leaves things almost perfectly even in terms of the HP. But the operator in a retake, not ideal, but it does work if they're still trying to figure out where to plant.
10 seconds left.
Oh, Creamy almost got one, but Kreven's flank finally comes through to close it out for BBL Pacific. Now, you had the Blade Storm online on backside. It looked like it would have a lot of value, but look at that. LaRock gets suppressed just as the push comes through. Beautiful timing coming out of Creamy. Somehow he still ended up with a kill, though, using his shorty to jump up and convert.
Well, considering how low Kreven was from the initial fight, he had a fantastic round. Wins a 1v1 versus a flank he knew was eventually going to come, and then used the timing to wrap all the way back around the other side of the map to clear him at the end. Just good positioning after what was a rough start to the round. Back and forth continuing. Still leaves the attack with rifles for this one, but well, it's safe to say the loser of this round, Mitch, will be struggling.
Yeah, this is really where you could see that little streak come together, especially if it is BBL Pacific taking it. That off from Lover's Rock. There's been repositioned. You know, we haven't seen him look for a lot of contact on mid, and that's going to catch Tag way off guard. And Lover's Rock's always been in B main, putting the pressure on there. Or rotating to A, but this is the first time we see that deep mid play, and Tag, well, he had no idea what he was walking into.
It's worrying as well, because Tag has been a nuisance. Like, the backstabs have been problematic, but even when he fails, it's the knowledge that he could be there behind you that has been something BBL Pacific have had to consider.
Oh, that was a beautiful paranoia. But Bamsy can't get the kill because LaRock is holding it down on that side angle. Loida eventually falling. The Hunter's Fury tracking him down. Shock Dart's good for damage. It won't get a kill this time, but the next one makes it dangerous. Creamy going for the plant. They'll invade heaven, but Rose gets there first to spam. It came so close. Creamy survives on a sliver of health, but the op shot will take that health bar down to 0. Only Waddle left. Big rounds in that first map, but he's not watching his side. Kreven comes around to lock in the lead for BBL Pacific.
Yeah, I've been surprised, especially with how Lover's Rock has been able to do once the opponents actually take a site. Normally getting back in with the operator is really difficult, but I think firstly some of the swing picks he's done have been fantastic, but also his patience. He allows his teammates to sort of make those moves. This round, though, a lot of it felt down to what Rose was able to do. Slow them down, give time for the rotations, and then also find a pick along the way. It will be enough to sound the alarm bells. Bear in mind, this is the first time in this map so far that 2 rounds in a row have gone the way of BBL Pacific. And it's worth noting as well that, like, again, for Dynasty, this is a map that we've already seen them play and win when playing up against Job Life, a defeat to the Turkish counterparts, and maybe that's the reason we see it in the pool today. But for Pacific, we have not seen this iteration of the roster play this map at all. Yeah. Even though they chose it.
Yeah, I mean, but it always has a very strong flair to it. If you come in and choose a map like that, it feels like you've been saving it or cooking up in the down days that you had, ready to play. And it certainly seems like they have come in on good form. And I think not even copying what is, I think, generally speaking, it seems to be the strongest composition when it comes to this map. If you're playing that double duelist, if you're playing the Yoru, we see the Waylay in there a lot. Laroc's comfort on Jet, even though he hasn't played a ton on Jet. I think even Sue brought it up when we came to Agent Select. Like, it's strange to see that decision not flip-flop in the other direction, but I'm assuming it is due to his comfort. Move in to round number 10. The investment from Dynasty is going to be decent. They've got Stingers, and if they can make it close, they're going to have a whale of a time, but the op, well, it's changed hands. An Outlaw sits on the B side. It is Laroc standing strong here on A with 2 picks and a spray through the smoke. BBL Pacific have got a massive leg up, and luckily Lloyd has got that cover from further back. A stylish round from BBL Pacific.
I feel like my favorite bit about this is that Lover's Rock has gone into an Outlaw. I can only assume because he kind of wanted to get an orb this round. Like, you go in with the 2-shot, everybody's low, you have a good chance to actually get yourself the ultimate, and instead it's the guy he gave the operator to that ends up farming up all of those orbs. A few away now from the Blade Storm, but luckily with the Diffusal, we are going to see that Dimensional Drift in play anyway. A big round. A big confidence round for Laroc. And as I said, this is the first time we've seen a streak from BBL Pacific, but it's now at least leveled up the half. And more importantly, gives them a good chance to go in with a big lead.
And the op starting to have a lot of value in early fights. You look at the mid push 2 rounds ago, Laroc then taking it to the A side. It's becoming harder to read for Dynasty, whereas before it was, oh, the op is in B main. Watch out for that early, use the utility to go there. And if we pressure A, he's rotating pretty quickly.
I have the spike.
Although he was left as anchor a couple of times when they did get that deep main control, but with the camera that's in play here for Tag, that's just been denying that sort of wider angle being held. And indeed, you can see again, TP from Lover's Rock moves towards A, feeling that pressure. But Dynasty have had very good reads on when they're dragging those rotates out of the defense.
I've liked it so far. There's clearly a read out from Kreven with the way that he's placed his utility, that he can't get too close because that null command is online. Wants to make sure that those trips on either side of the map will stay online. And now pressure, at least was for a moment, but instead, Ticey, he just TP'd him behind! Wasn't hurt by Rose, and that's enough to get an opener. He's now going to go hightailing it to the other side, but doesn't realize there's a second player there. Clearly thought there'd been much more of a rotation on the other side. Now in towards the site they go. That null command available, but bear in mind there is still going to be a trip.
Yeah, the reposition from Kreven to the other side of the map is keeping that online, but who's going to follow up on it? The answer is no one as it gets broken. A couple of spams, but it's the best we'll get. Famzy really wants this fight up close, but they'll settle on nading and falling back now that the plant is secured, and it's nice and open. Cosmic Divide comes into play, though. That's going to force players forward. Oh, the TP! He's got space behind the wall! A beautiful play! And he draws their eye. Laroc and Lloyd to take advantage. Kreven with another. Leaves Waddle all alone. A 1v2 and a damn good try. It's 1v3 to start it off. Laroc is standing in the end, putting BBL Pacific into a guaranteed lead at the halftime. The question that remains is, by how much?
I always love just like tiny details like that, just leaving a small gap in between the wall that just allowed for that TP to come through. It completely disrupted everything else that was being attempted by the defense. I think they even realized, like, okay, we've got to try and get back into position together with Tag going to join the rest of the team. Because your expectation is, okay, we now can't play deep in our post plants, so we have to play together. And they exploited that with just a tiny little gap. 7-4. Defensive half guaranteed, and with a double dive, you kind of have the expectation of the attack being better. I feel like Dynasty could really use this round.
It's definitely one of those interesting things where obviously when you come to the attack side, you can attack with a lot more proficiency, and especially on this map. But we've also seen a lot of really solid defensive plays because this double duelist allows you to set up in much more aggressive positions, having fallbacks, having options. This is going to be a big mid fight for BBL Pacific, looking to hammer home that 8-4 lead. And when they see nothing in mid, they send Kreven to walk up. He's going to be here early. He might even catch tag rotating back. The side push all comes down to Larocque, and he's blinded up. No chance for damage.
Great combination of utility and disruption. Kreven, the only one to find a kill, and Loiter would need a quick double. That's not a bad start. A bit of a mistake. One player goes forward, the other goes back. At least spinning things out, swinging in. They've just all gone swinging. They tried to take down Loiter, and he's like a human turret just waiting on the other side. That was a 2v4 that Dynasty just gave them the fight.
And I mean, look, the first one, a little isolated, but they double swung after. I need to see this from his perspective. How he got away with this. Loiter, that one was gifted. I'll give you that. This, though, the double swing. Oh. What a spray, man. He's unreal. You can see it on Rose's face. He thought that round was gone. It won't be 7. Instead, it's 8 on the board for BBL Pacific. But we've got a special guest in the building. Yinsu is standing by with Sop.
I am joined by Sob here, of course, just won yesterday as the camera pan over. Apparently standing in front of Pal as well. Colin from Fnatic. We have a lot of VIP here in the guests, but this guy is the superstar. First of all, you're here to support BBL Pacific, right?
Yeah, they're my boys, yes.
Is there a reason why? Is it just because they're Turkish, or they're your friends?
No, I mean, they're my friends also, and they're Turkish also.
You want to see them win?
Yeah, that's why I support.
So what happened on map 1? Why didn't they win after such a crazy lead?
I mean, they sold some crazy rounds. That's why probably they lost. You know, they had the advantage, like some rounds, and they just peaked for some reason, and they lost.
You think it was over peak, maybe?
I don't know. I don't really know.
Okay. Coming into this map, though, I wasn't super familiar with Larocque's Jet. Yeah. Have you seen him play Jet before? What's he like?
Yeah, I mean, he's good with every agent. He has the pure talent. He's Turkish. He can play anything.
You believe in the Jet pick?
Yeah, he can do anything.
And before I let you go, a lot of people thought maybe Dynasty, they should have beaten you when you played against them. What do you think about that? And also, what are they like since you have experience?
They're fine, you know. If they were good, they could beat us, but they're fine. That's it.
You think BBL Pacific can do this?
Yeah, BBL Pacific can win. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's very hard to doubt you, Sob. You've been right about almost everything so far in this tournament. So thank you so much for joining me, and let's send it back and see if he is going to be right this time.
Welcome back, folks. It's time to find out how the story ends on Abyss. BO5, so plenty more to come after this. But for now, it looks like we might have a 4th map locked in. A good performance from BBL Pacific, although thinking back to Lotus, maybe it's best not to count Dynasty out until all the rounds are on the board.
Yeah, it was an 8-4 half going into the attack. I'm seeing a lot of similarities, let's just put it that way. And as I said, last time out versus Job Life, it was a very stellar defensive half that came out of Dynasty, but I do think a pistol here, again, is going to be important. Now, with the double initiator, you are going to have a different sense. They can get a lot of information in these rounds. The knife already being sent out. I believe, will have denied the drone as well. So all of these close angles that you'd normally get to clear with that piece of utility have not been.
Round 13. This aggression from Famzy, I find it hard to believe will be calculated by BBL Pacific on the way back. It depends when they get here. He is now in the open. He's given up that tight little corner. This is very risky. He doesn't know just how close the whole squad is, and it will be Rose to find him in no man's land. The free being gifted. That position might have given them the round, but the patience wasn't there. The belief.
Faking it.
Some people say is everything. Well, it faded, and now the advantage for BBL Pacific. But hold on, there's a flash ready. Dynasty are here, they're ready to fight. They push them back, but
it's a full fake.
Spike?
It's a full fake. That was wonderful. They even dashed into the wall. I love that from Laroc. It's like, okay, we've thrown in some utility. There's a dash. He must be backside. Nope. They're already planted on B, and it's going to waste so much time. Dynasty have to go sprinting to the other side of the map, get themselves in. They have no idea what angles are clear. Look at them. They're checking absolutely everything. Then the flash comes through. That's already one for Lovers Rock. His goal was just to delay. And with that time already ticking, they need to get a move on Waddle. He's managed to do well, at least on a slither of health, but there is no chance of them coming back. That is a masterful round. The catch on Famzy felt like it was everything, but to throw in a fake on the fly, that's brilliant.
Yeah, really, really nicely done. You could see that, I mean, they fell for it hook, line, and sinker. Why wouldn't you? It looks like the obvious choice.
The dash into the box. It's just clever.
And the knife, the flash, everything thrown out. And then obviously you're burning up a lot of that early retake utility from your opponents, which already not going to be a ton of in the pistol round. There's a reason that Rose has been able to stick it out, leading a lot of these young Turkish talents for so long. Respected within the scene for many, many years, and well, you see why here. Beautiful calling. Dynasty not going to go for the same force buy. Of course, when you buy up Stingers on the attack side, sure, you can move as a unit. It's going to be much harder to defend a big old map like this as 5, so...
Well, you can move as a unit, but then you just have to die to the spike or save. It's a bad choice. And while both attack side duelists picking up a sniper, expecting some aggression come across the map. Now the stack is in the right place. 4 players holding deep control. But again, it's just a ruse. A little bit easier to predict, you'd think. That's not a great start for Lovers Rock. He was meant to be the man to sort of take the space. The only thing is, that now makes them believe that was a fake, because you've seen one guy try to walk into a B site and then nobody else follow it up. So it's unfortunate that him getting the kill probably would have got them in the right place. Instead, Tag now has to fight versus the entirety of the squad. And I thought he was going to escape for a second. It was the wallbang to take him down. But now, yeah, unfortunately, well, full classics, I don't even know if you bother trying.
I mean, they've managed to recover the Marshal. That's something, and Orbs on Famzy is going to be just fine. I mean, the rest of the squad could dive off, but why not? Look for damage here. Make it costly! This is getting a bit spooky now. Rose and Loida both tagged down very low. The Classic still is a bit of a battle against them, but this Marshal could make it an instant death. Loida now just one hit. Nicey has a chance to make this costly, but he won't find it in the end. 3 players alive for BBL Pacific. Double digits on the board.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it was such a sort of low investment. A couple of pistols in the mix that you look at this and you go, hey, they got a couple of kills. They made it look at least a little bit competitive. It doesn't matter. You're likely going to see a rifle or 2 purchased up to try and pad the gap. And for Lovers Rock, even just a couple of kills, or Rose, in fact. And you could find them with some pretty high impact ults going into the next round, let alone see what they can do in this one. And I'll be honest, Mitch, with all 5 players gathering up outside of B, I have a feeling they might be going B.
That's great deduction skills at work there, Tom.
I must wait a moment.
I don't know if Dynasty will have all that info, but they've got some to work with, and already you can see the rotations underway. Shots through the leg of Laroc, but he'll eventually go down to 1. Loida gets caught by the paranoia, revealed and sent back. Could be a fight alongside Rose that they somehow almost come ahead in and then end up there with Waddle down. Ticey tries his best to pull this back in their favor. That's not the TP he was looking for, but that one might be. On site, 45 HP. Loida stuck down on 5. He's going to try to use his smoke, give him a bit of safe haven to play from, but Ticey's already on his tail. It's all down to Kreven. One shot, though, to either of these players, and a headshot will do it! Closing the distance now. He's looking for it in the smoke. The cam confirms player not defusing. Ring-a-ring-a-rosy commences, and time seems to be on his side. He's up on the top rope and landing shot after shot for the clutch.
Again, you just have to talk about these youngsters and their individual intelligence. was waiting on the corner with a sniper, knew the only risk was really the player just defusing from an angle he couldn't quite clear, but not wanting to gamble everything on a firefight in a smoke, just uses his camera and even expects where his opponent would swing from. Perfect play from Kreven. And now after what is 8 rounds in a row, we were sat at a 4-4 scoreline, and oh, you wouldn't quite believe it if you've joined us just now.
Turns out BBL Pacific, not bad on Abyss.
Hey, their first choice. You had to have expectations, but they're looking very good.
For a debut, pretty much this year, and certainly with the full 5, you know, really not bad at all. An impressive performance. Now it feels like they're on the home stretch. Their opposition, all on light shields, Lover's Rock on an Outlaw. It's a terrifying setup to this round. Of course, he has the gate crash to just get on out of there as his, you know, information is going to slowly fade away. They've given up mid-control. They pressure B, trying to cause rotates, trying to get Lover's Rock a pick, and it's LaRock who ends up finding one. Then Lover's Rock finding the rotation of Creamy has completely split the forces of Dynasty, and this defensive side, they don't know where the front lines are drawn. They don't know where they can fight from, and nothing highlights that more than the wrap up from Kreven. Ticey and Tag, though,
Okay.
they brought this to a 2v3.
Ticey in the right place at the right time as well. He is being pushed from the backline, though. That's the bigger problem. They've revealed him, and LaRock has landed the shot. It's now left on to Tag, who has no idea. There's still a man waiting and watching. And although for a second it seemed like there was some hope in the round, BBL Pacific started off with such a bang that this is now completely dissipated. 4 in a row, and well, it's safe to say this is a less of a proactive pause coming up and more of an emergency one.
Yeah, you got one left and one round that you can lose left. Why not? Fire it in here. 8 rounds in a row. I mean, we've seen BBL Pacific do it. We've seen them do one better. But for Dynasty right now, yeah, it feels like they need to recapture that performance from Lotus. They were 7-1 down, didn't count themselves out, and we saw it. Once they started to put rounds on the board, it was a completely different display from a squad who, it felt like, couldn't even win an aim duel against BBL Pacific in the first 8 rounds of this series. So, you know, don't count them out, but Abyss does seem like the chapter's about to close.
I'd say probably count them out of this one. I think it's going to be, like, just the way that we've seen the switch come on. Like, the push and pull of the map on this attack side, even though it's only been a few rounds, have been fantastic from the pistol round onwards. I think LaRock has just been firing. Loiter looking back, as I said, the #1 rated player in the tournament. Looking like he doesn't want to let that one go. Even still, though, I think just getting some of that momentum back.
Yes, this should do. This goes here. This is
turning it around from here, I will forever be the pessimist.
We'll see. Dynasty has already proven many people wrong so far here at Ascension. I think for most, the expectations were incredibly low. Oh, nice early fight by Ticey. I wasn't sure he was getting out of there, but he's found himself right back into their spawn.
An early opener. Lover's Rock in the last round was left as a lurker. It seems like the aggression of this round is not done just yet, but or maybe the round itself suffers. Famzy has been having a tough time in this map, and it's not got any better. They'll reveal one player, but the opponents will reveal a lot of them, and they know that Waddle's completely isolated. They're looking to try and put the pressure on Kreven again. Positioning perfect. The fight awkward, but Creamy wins it, runs out of bullets on the turnaround. And now Tag to try and keep them in the map, but he is being wrapped on again. Again, another round from Kreven that's all about positioning, and his positioning is perfect.
Yeah, really pulling the strings of Desire to close out that one, and it's got to feel good to bounce back. They were 7-1 in the lead on Lotus, lost the map, but they came back for vengeance, and it is theirs. One